This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Well, one of the greatest companies in the world is at it again, and that is Chip Theory Games. And today we are going to be taking a look at something that's a little bit different, and that's Wroth. Designed not by the boys, but by Manny Tremblay. And very, very interesting. So I'm going to kind of go over it a little bit, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it on the other side. Some of the things I really like about this, and some of the things that really caught me by surprise. So let's go take a quick look. Not going to be a huge explanation, but we will talk more about this on the other side. Now I'm going to give you a quick overview of this. This is really pretty incredible. You're going to have a bunch of different factions that you can choose from. Of course, high quality as always with the mats. One side is going to be an AI, but if you're playing with players and a couple of players, you're going to be using this side, okay? And there is a way to play the AI where the AI will be able to do everything this way, okay? There's all kinds of different factions, the Ugalans, like I said, the Coda, which are cool. And you can also pick up a couple additional expansions, as you can see right here. Now, as you can see, you're going to have your basic units, which are the lith for this particular faction. This is your one-player die, okay? These are special units. These are higher ranked units. To get them out, you're going to have to use Cora. But how are you going to get Cora? That's the whole key. As you can see, it's going to cost you 2 to pay for a Cora to get this into your area. Now, let's take a look at the board and explain a couple of things about the board here. This is the lower area here. And then you have your higher areas, which is where you're going to do all your battling. This is the shore, and then you have your upper areas, and they're all numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and of course 8. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to start with a certain amount of guys here, and depending on what die, because depending on how many players you are going to roll these particular dice, okay? And as you can see, they all have different values here, okay? And one by turn, you are going to pick a die, okay? As you pick that die will have different types of ability. For instance, this one here is you can deploy 2 troops to a region you occupy. So if you occupy region 1 here, you can deploy 2 troops from your, and I'll bring this up over here so you can see, from here, and actually deploy them here. At the end of the round, you are going to score victory points, and the idea is to get 30 victory points on your sheet here. The first one past 30 actually wins the game, depending on everybody getting their last turn, and some people may surpass it and make it to 33 and 35 depending on which. Now, the strategic part here is trying to find what you need at that particular time. And you also have what is called an all-seeing die. At the beginning of your turn, you're going to roll that die, and you are going to put that right there. Okay, you're going to be able to use that in tandem with any dice that you have. So particularly as it goes around and people pick different dice, okay, and say we want that one, they're going to grab that one, and then, well, we'll do it that way, just so you can kind of see what's going on here. This die here particularly is going to give you a Cora. Now, you're going to need Cora because, number 1, you can invoke your special ability. 2, you'll be able to get, the more Cora, you'll be able to get your special units out, which are harder to hit. When you attack something, okay, particularly, if this person was to attack this region, and if we just say that this was a different color one, what would happen is it would do 1 damage, which would tick this down. That's why your special units are really good to have there, because number one, they're going to give you a foothold and give you a chance to have the majority at the end of the scoring round, which is not so easy. Also, at the beginning of the game, you are going to lay out all these special spoils, okay? And what's going to happen is during this, you're going to turn them over, and these spoils will do different things. They'll give you victory points. Sometimes they'll give you different abilities. Like for here, this one here will give you an attack, which you would be able to activate the action on, and then at the end, you would be able to get the additional bonus point, because not only when you attack something do you get a victory point for holding this area, but any kind of spoils that have additional victory points will add, so it will push up your thing. Instead of getting 1, you will get 3 and be able to move it down on that track. Your special die here does a lot of different things here. For instance, when the human player plays this, attack a region you occupy and you're going to do 2 damage. As you can see, there's 2 skulls compared to the normal 1 skull here. This particular you can use in case you do an action. So for instance, if your last action was an attack, well, you would be able to do it twice if you decided to use your all-seeing die. This will give you a Cora, of course, gain +1 Cora. And then finally over here, attack any region for 1 damage. So you don't even have to move your guys into an area. You could just say, I'm going to use my special die and I'm going to attack region 2 and be able to take off the enemy. The game, depending on what you play, will go. There's also a round counter for the AI. Sometimes you just want to have this just so you get used to using it. I do, because when you play the AI, you're going to be playing a certain amount of rounds. And as you can see, you're going to go through all the different phases. Maintenance, you're going to set the round counters, dies, to match the current round. Okay, so if we're on round 2, we're going to make sure that we do round 2. You're going to pass the first player token over. Spoils, we already talked about spoils. Groundwork, in player order, each faction deploys 2 troops. So every turn you're going to have a chance to deploy 2 troops to the drop zone. Roll your all-seeing dice, we've talked about that, and gain 1 Cora. Okay, that's in the solo phase. Phase 4 was draft. That's when we're going to roll all these dice, and then we're going to draft dice. So there's a drafting mechanism. Then we're going to perform our actions with our dice. And then when that's all done, after we do all our actions and everything, or whether we attack or move certain units to certain areas to attribute as many victory points as we could possibly have, we have phase 6, which is victory point phase, where we're going to total all the victory points and keep on going and keep playing until we pass that 30 threshold. Each faction has a dirty cheating ability that you can use that makes things different. There's also some cards that are going to give you a special ability. You're going to have 3 cards and you're going to pick one and you're going to turn it face down, and then at the beginning of the game you're going to turn these cards around. And I'll show you a couple of these cards, even though I have them still. Well, I put everything back in its wrapper. I'm really not that smart. So for our little elves here that we were playing, we're going to have 3 things: camouflage, field advantage, rain of arrows. And this may be a once per game. Attack each region for 2 damage, then flip this card. That means you can't use it anymore. So you have this special ability that is going to be nasty, and at the right time you're going to want to pull it out and, well, basically try to gain as many victory points as you can. And like I said, it'll be back and forth. One thing I want to make note of, that when you draft dice and there's 1 left over, it always goes to the person with the lowest amount of victory points. Okay, so they would get an extra action, more or less. If it is tied between two people for the lowest, well, this die doesn't come into play. So there you have it, a nice brief overview of another chip theory masterpiece, which is Wroth. Now let's go up top and get my final thoughts on what I consider another great game from a great company. This company does not make bad games. This company does not support bad games. This company does not have what it takes to make a bad game. Wroth is very interesting. I was very thrown back by the art. It is very different, but I was open to it because all I cared about was the gameplay and what it did. And this area control dice, picking, trying to make sure that you got the right dice, or that would help you in movement or in battle or making certain moves, depending on that role, you may want to battle something and go, oh man, I really get that die. And it starts with the first player and it works its way around and you're sweating it out hoping that they don't grab that particular die. But if they do, now you've got to come up with a whole entire different strategy, which is just really, really fascinating, and can change the complexion of the game. You have that special die on your table that you can, okay, I can use this, or maybe you rolled it and there's something that you don't need there, and you've got to hopefully survive until the next turn where you can hopefully make up those victory points that you desperately need. It really is something unique, something different. It's beautiful and it does all the right things, and I think it's just a fantastic game. I keep looking over at it. I apologize. Wroth it is a must-have. A must-have. The solo. I didn't even cover the solo rules in this, but the AI is a pain in the neck, and this just hits. It's great with a bunch of people. It's great co-op. It's great by yourself. And I usually play things by myself. And I just have to tell you, this is something special. Another great chip theory masterpiece. Wroth. Make sure you check it out and pick it up when it's available. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon, everybody.